I want to flash back to one of my favorite Maddens. I feel like this Madden is a underrated gem. It wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the worst, but there was a lot of things I enjoyed about this game that has replay value. Now when it comes to gameplay, the gameplay was decent in its own way, and it was heading in the right direction. Now, they didn't really shy away too far from physics, but physics wasn't the greatest or worst in this game. Once again, there's a lot of things that this game done decently, and there's a lot of stuff that wasn't as consistent, but there was things that really stood out at times. And when it comes to the intertwine of physics and scripted animations, this was a decent enough game that made it enjoyable to witness. The scripted animations was decent. The physics, what combination when it came to collisions, it was decent. But like I said, this game wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the worst. It was doable to deal with. But like I said, the way that this game played felt very good in a way compared to other versions, in my opinion. And every time I revisit this game, I enjoy it much more. Now, I want to do a coach mode simulation series, so I'm going ahead and trying to become a head coach, taking over for the Panthers, and kind of revamping this team to my liking and see how, based off improvements and building this team just like how I'm doing with Maximum Football, I want to see if I can implement that same method and see if I can build a dominant franchise team. Now you guys see right here, right off the bat in preseason, I went ahead and traded Brian Burns, Dontario Poe, and Christian McCaffrey, all from Panthers, in return for Derrick Henry from the Titans. So that was probably one of the biggest deals that I was able to get, because I want to establish the same type of scheme that I have in Maximum Football and actually have a power run team scheme. Now, I went ahead and got 30-year-old Dez Bryant, who became a free agent that season, and pretty much his career was down the drain. I want to kind of revive his career as well with the inning career of Cam Newton and see how they do. I really want Dez Bryant to be able to revive his career, stand out, and help this team to getting to a couple Super Bowls during the time that I have with him. Because, I mean, he's an 83 overall, and I just want to see how I do picking him up. Now, my goal for this season is at least try to make it to the playoffs with what I have to deal with on this team. Now, it's kind of like rebuilding, but they are decently good enough to sustain for a couple years until I start rebuilding. So we got to see where that heads. So this is how we are looking overall for our team ratings. So our team overall is an 81, have an 83 offense and an 80 defense. So we're pretty much balanced. And then you take a look at the positions. Basically, we just got to improve on the fullback and left guard. And everywhere else is pretty much in the green, B plus, average. Then you take a look at the defense, and we have to really work on our defense. Hopefully we can improve some of these young guys, but looking forward, I think I'm going to be trying to draft and work the trade block, see what I can work with throughout the season, and try to build especially the interior, the D tackles, and then the secondary. Linebacking core, it's not the greatest, but I can deal with what I have, as I'm going to be converting this defense from a 3-4 to a 4-3 Tampa 2 defense. And I think this scheme change is really going to showcase very well with how this team is looking so far. Now, my first match is going up against the Los Angeles Rams. They are an 82 overall, and they have a young Aaron Donald, a young Todd Gurley, and Andrew Whitworth. Now, the way that these games are going to be played out, of course, spectating, but I'm not going to be breaking down the entire match. I want to cover some plays that really stand out based off simulation play and showcasing how well the abilities actually were back then. Now, of course, in comparison with player models, presentation, graphics, of course, this is terrible compared to now, but I still like what they had to offer. But besides the point of that, my care was all into how the gameplay felt to me. Now, we take a look at how these individual players are based off ratings. Got Jared Goff at 83 overall. You guys seen Derrick Henry, and then Cam Newton was at 84 overall. So throughout this process, I'm going to show you guys everything from building, improving, and seeing what I can do from a coach perspective to make a dominant team. Now, you take a look at this play. Now, the plays I'm about to break down is kind of representing how well of the introduction to the abilities were. Now, this was pretty much the first version of the X Factor and Superstar players. But the thing is, of course, over the years after the fact, they tend to add more stuff and improve upon the abilities. But this was the only version to me that I feel like Superstar and X Factor players really shine. So in this case, we're taking a look at Luke Kuechly. Watch how he reacts during this handoff play to Todd Gurley. And you guys are going to see what I mean, that throughout this match, how Luke Kuechly pretty much dominated. See his reaction on that play? Let's take a look at it again in slow-mo. He gets his read, he pursues, and how he pursues, he's gearing up for this big hit, and it's just so satisfying to witness. Just his play rec, pursuit ratings really reflected so well, especially in this game and throughout this match. Now, you take a look at the blocking on this play by left tackle Whitworth. Even him, with his pass blocking abilities, it just shine. And then you guys see like the pocket presence. Now, you guys are going to see how Luke Kuechly comes into the play and just blows up the receiver. Like, just the things of how these superstar players play that just shine so very well in this game. So you look at Whitworth once again, gets a great block right here, sticks with him. Just even animations with the interactions together just look so good. And then right here, you guys are going to see once again how Luke Kuechly reacts and pretty much blows up this play. Now, before the game started, trying to accomplish goals, our goal was trying to contain Todd Gurley from breaking free, and Luke Kuechly just really showcased very well of him containing Todd Gurley. So right here, you guys are going to see how he reacts. He's watching the play as it happens. He's in the right position. And check this out. Boom. Lights him up and causes a forced fumble. Now, this is a tough matchup because both players are good. But at this point in time, Luke Kuechly was just a more dominant player because of his ratings. And it showcased so well in this game. And based off our scheme, this was our main goal to stop throughout this match, was just contain from Todd Gurley breaking free. Now, the Rams do end up driving downfield very successfully, and Jared Goff, he was playing very well in this match, and he hits Brandon Cooks right here for the first points of the game. Just the way how these plays flow, it's so much more smoother compared to current Madden, and that's Madden 25, which is ridiculous. Right here was a great punt to witness. Pretty much had a bounce back and was able to pin them deep with their backs against the wall. Now, there's some times where the logic didn't make sense. Like, you take a look right here. So 34 seconds left. Of course, they should just run out the time, but of course they want to try to get downfield and score quickly, as they ended up stopping us. But like I said, this game wasn't perfect. There's times where there was decent, good plays, especially when it came to the AI making logic sense, and then there's times where it wasn't. So that's why I say this game wasn't very consistent, but when it did show decency, man, did it look good. So of course, Shaq Thompson ends up getting a sack. We end up getting a safety right here, getting pressure, which was a huge momentum change because, this is what we needed to get some points on the board before second half kicks off. Now, certain players start to shine. You guys are going to see it throughout the match. Now, another thing that I needed to change was the minute quarter length, which, of course, in the next match, I'm going to end up doing that. I feel like the range within 12 minutes is a decent, good time frame to have simulation matches, but of course 15 is still the best option in my opinion. Now, another cool goal to manage during this match was trying to stop Aaron Donald from dominating, and you guys are going to see how dominant Aaron Donald is in some of these plays, like this particular play. As we start the second half, going to have a play action fake, and watch how he kind of blows up, makes a swim move, and he's about to blow up Cam Newton. Now, for some odd reason, Cam Newton was able to stay under pressure and throw some dimes, and most of his connections was to, shockingly, Des Bryant. So that's one thing I kind of made a scheme towards, was trying to get Cam Newton and Des Bryant to connect a lot. And this match really fit well to what I was trying to build with this team. And I wanted to kind of limit Cam Newton from scrambling a lot, but this is simulation, and based off upgrades and what their abilities are, it's kind of gonna reflect properly, and sometimes it won't. Now, this next play, 3rd and 11, need a first down pickup, and check it out. Cam Newton steps back, and he stays under pressure while Aaron Donald gets through a double team block, which is expected. But look who he connects with, Des Bryant, once again for a first down pickup. So like I said, this game at times really shows well when it comes to the simulation aspect and seeing how players play correctly based off their ratings and, of course, based off X Factor superstar abilities. Now I was able to end up setting for a field goal. The score now 7-5 as we're about to reach the fourth quarter. Now, the way how this game turns out was pretty interesting, and you guys are going to see a pretty epic 2-minute drill by Cam Newton. Now, Rams has a chance to extend the lead, so it's 2nd 11 right here. Third quarter is about to end. They hand off the ball, but the reaction from Shaq Thompson and Luke Kuechly on this play was outstanding. So Shaq Thompson is an upcoming, superstar. And then you got Luke Kuechly. Just how they react on this play looks good. And then how they collide, it looks pretty decent. A little bit realistic of an outcome, where it's not as scripting outcomes that we're accustomed to seeing. It just flows very well. Now, it's fourth quarter. We end up getting the ball right here. And check it out. Just the blocking on Aaron Donald. We was pretty much able to contain him. But you see how, having pocket presence, Cam Newton's kind of sitting there. Usually he would just automatically take off, which he ends up deciding to do right here. So you have moments where Cam Newton plays like himself, and then you have times where he doesn't, based off the situation. Another awesome thing to see that, once again, it's not consistent, but it does better from time to time compared to current Madden. And that's where collisions like this, there's a little bit of physics there where you have receiver trying to make a catch, defender comes in, and it's not morphing to a unrealistic in favor of, the receiver coming down with the ball or the defender coming down with a knockout. So they do collide, but you see how they collide. Physics happen, knocks the ball loose. Like, the one thing that I hate seeing with, of course, current Madden 25 is just how the players suction in place into a completely out of position animation that makes the outcome unrealistic. And of course, like I said, it can either favor, the receiver coming down with this catch, hanging onto the ball, or the defender somehow pick it off and hang onto the ball. So it's just great to see at times in this game it's done correctly. Now, our punter was doing some amazing punting work. I mean, he was having a very good day at punting the ball and pinning the Rams with their backs against the wall. So that was kind of a big help. in this game, so our special teams was doing work. Now once again, this was another logic moment, that is, where, for some odd reason, you think the Rams would consistently run the ball just to play it safe, but also waste time. But they elect to pass during this drive. But even though they have a little bit of logic mistake, I like this interaction between the in-air collision, as you guys see here. It just looks good. It flows very smoothly. We just had great in-air collisions, and now it's all morphing and scripting and suctioning moments. Now right here, under 2 minutes, we have to get downfield, at least in field goal range, to kick a field goal to win the game. And Cam Newton played this well, and we was able to contain Aaron Donald from getting any pressure, which was a big blocking assignment for helping us to get downfield. So as we are getting downfield, I think we played this very, very well, because just the decision making that Cam Newton was making during this drive, he was just dumping down short passes as well, taking off when need to, but he was doing it in a hurry, didn't have to really waste timeouts, and he was making great reads. So we got in field goal range, and shockingly, Rams takes a timeout, which is kind of odd. And then we eventually end up taking the timeout after, running a play. But yeah, like I said, you can't really question logic. I mean, it is the AI playing each other. It's just depending on what they feel like doing. But right here, 2nd and 6, instead of just running the ball, wasting timeouts, and staying conservative and just trying to kick the field goal, we try to look for, instant touchdown, but Cam Newton makes a Cam Newton play, and look, he's tucking the ball away. He's staying in bounds, so the Rams can literally waste their timeouts. It was kind of cool how the mind games was playing right here, because it's like we don't really have to waste the timeouts, but at the same time, it's like Rams wanted to waste timeouts to try to keep time on the clock to see if they can have a chance to get downfield. So it was kind of crazy to see the logic once we got down here and how they was playing it. Now it's 1st and goal. Instead of, playing conservative, once again, we end up just throwing for a touchdown. And look who he connects to. Dez Bryant. Like, this was great to witness. I mean, we pick up Dez Bryant so he can be the go-to receiver for Cam Newton to hit. And certainly so, this match showed that. And I was so glad to see that happening to what I wanted to happen. So this game played out very well. And then, of course, Rams is just chucking up Hail Marys, and our DBs was able to knock the ball down. So we end up winning this first match. Now, this was on 6-minute quarters. Of course, I'm going to bump it up to at least 12-minute quarters and see how we do. But so far, just from changing the scheme and picking certain players to help out the scheme play better, it was just awesome to witness how, I'm picturing it unfold the correct way. Now, Cam Newton played a pretty good game. He was 16 for 21 for 130 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and his longest pass was 23 yards. So not bad. Rushing, he done decently rushing. He rushed for 3 times for a total of 17 yards. We didn't really run the ball with Derrick Henry as much, which was shocking, but of course it was shorter minute quarters, so that's probably why. So we're going to see a little bit more of simulation when it comes to a little bit longer quarters. Now, once again, he connected with Dez Bryant 6 total times for 58 yards, and as well his second option, Greg Olsen, which is great to see. So just seeing the stats kind of reflect the proper way of how I wanted, the game to play. It was pretty awesome. And then, once again, superstar players standing out like Luke Kuechly, getting 7 total tackles. I mean, he was dominating throughout this match, making big hits. So, the stats don't lie. It kind of represents how well certain individual players are. As far as team stats, we was pretty identical. I mean, even on first downs, even on third down conversions, both 3 for 7, 42%. And It was just a great overall match to witness. And, like I said, this game had somewhat of decent simulation. And that's why I look forward to with this game. And that's why it has replay value for me. Now, big thing once again, we was able to contain Aaron Donald from dominating, which is shocking. He only had one tackle. Not even a solo tackle, it was an assisted tackle. So you guys are going to see the upgrades that we was able to get from this match alone. Now, I kind of like this method of how the upgrade system is in this game, but it's like at the same time I like the grind type of challenge, like what Maximum Football has to offer, where it's individual ratings. I mean, Madden had it before, but this is like a quicker way to boost up players faster. But like with Maximum Football, you earn a certain amount of XP as a total instead of a total for each individual player, and then you can use that XP for certain individual ratings to boost up, which is very difficult. The higher it is, the more XP it's going to be. Madden had that same concept, and then I guess people complained because it was too difficult. They wanted an easy route, and that's why they do it like this now. Which, it is what it is. They gotta change and revamp stuff, but I feel like the challenge to make XP harder and make it individual rating boosting, I think that is more better compared to having it super easy for people to boost up a bunch of players at once. So here you guys are going to see the goals that we was able to accomplish, and what those goals does is going to affect in our favor and boost up, like the entire offensive line gets 500 plus XP, which is great because it also helps to getting more XP for players. So this was another great thing that I like, which I mean, of course they still have, but I feel like it kind of dumbed down compared to what we used to have it at. Now, of course, they kind of improved upon this years after, but I feel like this version of Madden done this the best, and I hope Maximum Football implements this over time. So when you're training to pretty much boost or get a extra boost for XP for your players, which a lot of people just simulate, I took advantage of this, and this really helps, especially if you're doing coach mode, which I'm doing for this series. So when you're taking a look at the training for your upcoming opponent, it would show their top players, what they're ranking in for, like, as you guys see right here, 14th in passing yards, 10th in rushing yards for the league. But it gives a really in-depth detailed scouting report, and this can help you in a very beneficial way to help your team get a win. So they have a 36% pass, 64% run, and it shows what they're good at or what they mostly run. And this is where I literally took advantage of, which you guys are about to see what I do and give you guys a good example. So you take a look right here. They run a 3-4 under scheme. They mostly run a cover 2, 37%. So you want to go to your offensive game plan, and you guys see this is just pre-selected from the CPU. It says the Buccaneers play a cover 1 coverage 17% of the time, but you can change this to match. So basically, as I'm gonna go through these drills, I want to have my offensive game plan to be going up against cover 2 because they play a lot of cover 2 defense. So I want the offense to focus on everything that helps them being able to be a cover 2 defense. And the same thing vice versa for the defensive game plan. What do they mostly run on, offense? So once again, they pass 30% of the time. They run 64% of the time. So you're going to be expecting more so the run, and it looks like they run a lot of power run plays. So you want to focus your defensive game plan on things that are able to stop mostly the run, and that's the power run. So you guys see here that I'm going to go to defend the outside run. I want the run defense to be focused on that. So now have the opportunity to go through the drills, and you can basically simulate it, but you don't get the amount of XP into comparison of you actually doing it. And this is another thing that I took into consideration. This was a big help for comp play as well, because back then they had concept of certain plays instead of like the actual play. They had categories that was base concepts for each coverage. For instance, if you're trying to be a defense, they got these concept plays categorized where you can literally use to beat every single cover 2 or cover 3 defense. And I feel like a lot of people really didn't pay attention to this. So you got the flood, you got the smash concept to beat cover 2. And this was a great way for a learning curve, especially picking certain plays to really help you dominate. Now, that's especially for those that don't have any football knowledge. But when it comes to playing this game and trying to figure out what is the best concept to beat certain things, you can just pick these plays and you don't even have to adjust. Even for stopping the run. So like right here, like I said, I want to stop the outside run. So the cover 3 and cover 4 works so well. And I still run this stuff to this day when I compete online. And I showcased this when I was playing college football 25 and breaking down how to stop certain stuff, and it still works to this day, and a lot of people don't know about that. Anyways, you guys take a look at the XP. So of course you want the superstar players that has development traits, you get more XP, but even completing these, you get other players involved that gets a lot of XP, especially if they fit your scheme. You're getting an additional XP boost. So this was another cheese way to pretty much boost up your team faster, which for online dynasty leagues, oh my god, I was getting my DBs especially to a 99 speed rating quickly, and everybody was saying, oh, how are you getting your players upgraded so fast, especially speed? So not only this, but where they implemented the assistant coaching, that was another big boost of how I was kind of pretty much cheating with the methods that I knew about that a lot of people didn't know about. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, you're manually upgrading your ratings and cheesing instead of earning, when I literally was earning from everything that was given within the game, which a lot of people don't take into consideration. So yeah, I know this video was all over the place, but want to kind of reiterate about this game and probably show you guys things that you guys probably never acknowledged or forgot about. But yeah, I'm going to be making this a full-blown series and see how I do trying to make this team into a dominating franchise team. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.